Okay, quite the interesting tale of events over the past few days. I am currently sitting in a Lebanese restaurant at the Dubai International Airport, just having finished up my meal. But the past 24 hours have been insane, like something out of a movie, something that I can't believe is my life or I did, but it is remarkable. So, where to start? Let's just I'll summarize the kind of how a movie begins with the ending, and then you're like, how in the world did they get there? And then it goes to the beginning. Well, in a similar way, I've done the very first ever that I have even heard of date within a date, like dateception, meaning I was on a date, and in the middle of that date, I went on another date and came back to the first date. So that was, I pulled it off. The way that this happened is I was planning to meet someone regular. Like, by regular, I mean that I see her whenever I come to Dubai. She's like a companion. She's just there. And she was planning to come over yesterday. At the same time, there is this other girl that I have been courting for ever since we matched on a dating app, like probably 2 months ago, or actually 3 months ago. Yeah, it's been quite a while. Like, it was like when I was staying in Dubai, which was quite a while back, and we tried to meet up a few times, but it didn't work in terms of our coordination. Mostly I was flying in and out of Dubai often, and so the day I landed, not the ideal topic to be talking about when the prayer call is happening, but the show must go on. So I texted her on the day that I landed. She replied that she is coming from Saudi Arabia, and then we were saying that we were gonna meet up not the day she landed, but the next day because she wanted to hang out with her friends. And I was like, cool. And so yesterday happened, and I actually went to the Burj Khalifa to meet up with another girl who's actually my nutritionist, but also very charming, very single, and in another life she would be an ideal partner. She's very charismatic, and it's like very easy to get along. And I was chatting with her about health-related things. I actually did a test to there was a nurse there that did a blood draw so that we can find out my liver enzyme test. So that's what I met up with her for. And after that discussion, we started talking about kind of our single life and getting out there more. And she was saying that it would have been nice if I stayed in Dubai, then we could go out more. Like, we would be each other's reason to step out of the house more. Because when I was living in Dubai, in the Burj Khalifa, I have stayed, lived there. Like, that was my home in Dubai. I used to just stay inside in my living room for days on end. So it definitely, I needed friends like her to get me out of the house, especially like when you can do your business from your laptop or in bed. So we're talking about our single life, and I was telling her, like, we're talking about like how people are becoming more distant with technology, and the rise of like AI companionship, whether it's in like Siri having a very soothing voice that like texts you or talks to you, because that's what the vast majority of relationships are. It's texts and phone calls, and AI can do that. And then we talked about like robotic wives and husbands that might replace humans, and we were like, okay, we gotta date while we can and get out there. And so I was telling her, well, actually, I'm supposed to be going on a date today or tonight, which was yesterday. And she's like, well, are you? And I was like, she hasn't texted the girl I was supposed to go on, that I did go on a date with. She's like, she hasn't texted, so I haven't texted her. I was almost hoping that it wouldn't like come together, but after the discussion with her, and while I was with her, I texted the girl about like I was like, good day, my lady. What adventures are you up to this afternoon? And she was saying that and she didn't reply back for like 40 minutes. So by that time, I hugged my nutritionist, my therapist almost, and a very charming girl. I don't know how she's single, honestly. She is one of those people that you can't help but slowly fall for. But I'm grateful to have her in my corner. Anyway, she definitely played a big role in not just inspiring me to go out on that date, but also later on you'll see that she actually coordinated that date, which is insane. So after that, I go to have brunch, and then that's when the girl texts about like she's just working from home, and I said, oh, do you have any pets to keep you company? She's like, no. And I was just having brunch and had some meetings in the morning, and I'm looking forward to the rest of my day, kind of hinting at the fact that we're supposed to go on a date. And then she was saying that she was like inside and working all day. I was like, let's get some fresh air together. She's like, this evening, question mark? And I was like, yeah, that works. So what's interesting about the way that she said this evening is that I could have said, oh, if it works for you, or some other like passive reply, but I replied back as if she was asking me out. So I said, like, sure, that works. Like, she's asked this evening, but that was in response to me, but then I replied back as if she's asking me. So it's kind of like a more assertive answer of like, sure, that works. I learned that if you can make the girl the more aggressive one in terms of like her wanting to see you, date you, sleep with you, it becomes very fun, because typically guys are seen as the more pushy ones, and if you could playfully turn that around and like kind of say like, I'm not just a piece of meat, or hey, I like to take things slow, or like stuff like that. It's kind of it turns the tables, and it's fun. Anyway, so she said this evening. I said sure, that works. And then she said something about like getting she said, what's the plan? And at that point I panicked because I didn't have a plan. So I took a screenshot of the conversation, sent it to my nutritionist. I gotta find a better name for her than that. She suggested a restaurant, and as well as like how to go about the date. And so I replied back with kind of what my nutritionist suggested. And then the girl said, I love that place. I'd never been to that place myself, but she loves that place. And I was like, great. And then it just was like quiet for a while. No one had suggested a time. And after like an hour, I replied back. It was, of course, up to me to, ask for the time of when is good for her. I kind of was still hoping that it would not happen again, like social anxiety and like getting out there kind of anxiety. And so I gotta make sure I don't miss my flight. I still have like 35 minutes before they start boarding. But so she asked what's the plan, and then of course like I suggested the place that the other girl suggested, and in the midst of, and then about the time, and so after about an hour I texted her. I said, I've been like busy finishing up some work. What time is good for you? She said she has to like get a shower and get a few things together. How about 9 p.m.? I said that works. And later on she's like, are you going to be finished with your work? I said, I'll make it happen. Of course, like being able to work for yourself, you can, come back to work or do your work whenever. In the midst of all of this, there is the other girl that I casually see when I'm in Dubai, and she's like, hey, are we still meeting at 6 p.m.? I said, yeah. So she comes over, and there I am, and she usually stays until like past midnight. And so like in this stretch of time, I have the other date, and I'm kind of stressing out of like, how am I gonna juggle this? So she comes over, and we are, just getting cuddly. And then I realize I have to do some activity with her before I say that I have to go to attend to some other thing. And I'm thinking either she will leave or she will stay until I come back. And I didn't suggest that, but when we started getting out of the house and I said, let's go get something to eat or do something, because I wanted our activities to happen so she doesn't feel like I've kind of abandoned her. I once considered telling her that I was going to go on another date, because she knows that I'm not looking for a relationship, or I'm not, in a serious mode of any sort of commitments. But I started noticing some attachments, some layers of like her being emotional, like to say that she wanted like exclusivity, or some like she was like, don't leave Dubai, or some other things that were beginning to make me worry of like, hey, like, we're just, just passing by each other, right? So I didn't say, because at first I was like, what do I like fear? What do I have to lose? Like, I'm just gonna be honest. Not that I was not honest, because I just said I have to meet someone in regards to seeing if there is synergy there, and technically that is why I met with her. Well, that's why I went on the date. But anyway, I then decided that it wouldn't be wise to tell her what I was going to this other thing for. She even offered to drop me off, and that would have been iconic. But anyway, we tried to go somewhere, so somewhere with the girl that was already there, but the traffic was so bad that we ended up coming back to my place, and I found out that the place that I was gonna go on the date with the girl had like a very strict dress code, and I didn't bring much stuff like smart wear. I just like t-shirts and so I was kind of freaking out. She kind of helped to like say it's gonna be all right. The girl I was with, because she thought it was a business meeting, and so I didn't correct her. And then it was like 8:20, and I brushed my teeth and tried to do something with this ridiculous hair, and couldn't wear a hat. So anyway, I headed there early because I was like, I want to make sure I can get in with what I'm wearing, which was questionable in terms of that sort of ambiance. Secondly, I wanted to be there early to select a table that would work for us. And third, I wanted to be familiar with the environment, which has a home court advantage of kind of seeing the lay of the land. And so I got there around 8:40, and around 8:45 she texts the girl I'm gonna go on the second date with, texts about she's gonna be heading out. I said, darling, take your time. I'll keep our seat warm, and it's a great ambiance. And she's like, oh, you're already there. And then she texted that she just left without doing her nails or hair. And I was like, I'm not here for your nails or hair, I'm here for you. Why? I said, you're adorable, I'm not here for your nails or your hair, I'm here for you. And she replied back, you're cute or something. Anyway, when I got there, I also sent a picture of me being there to her. And so, anyway, she was familiar with what she was walking into. After twiddling my thumb and trying to look as cool as possible or as casual as possible, she shows up, and she is stunning. She's wearing a black dress, looking immaculate, and I'm like, okay, this is above my what I'm used to. I won't say above my level. I need to level up, sure, but it was a great. I was deeply engaged in the conversation, in her eyes, in just this was not a typical date where I would just not really care that much or be that intrigued, but I was here, and I told her that since my being single for 3 years, this is the first real date in which I feel like I'm actually with someone that has potential, that I want to be with, and it's totally different than everything else that I've encountered. And she asked questions about why hasn't it, or the other girls in your life, what is it about them that doesn't match? And I said it's a mental thing. I've gone on dates, but I wasn't even serious because it was not. There was no mental compatibility. And I asked her directly. I was like, "What are you looking for?" Or no, I asked her, "What do you want?" It was so abruptly. I was just like, "What do you want?" And she kind of froze and then laughed. She's like, "That's a funny question." And she's like, "What do you mean, in life and career?" And I was like, "In a partner." And she said she wants respect, and I definitely feel that she's a woman of respect, someone that she's the type of person that I would drop everything for. And I'm so grateful that I've at least encountered girls like that, or a girl like that, because it reinvigorates hope for moving from lust to love. And it was just really a beautiful time in conversation. We talked about many different facets of life. She's very she's entrepreneurial in the sense that she used to do some e-commerce, used to work with manufacturers in China. She's gone to China herself, which kind of reminds me of my ex who did the same. And I have some understanding of e-commerce, so it was like nice having a deep discussion about what she was selling and the margins and the problems with the payment processor, which I was very familiar with. So we had some commonalities in just the world of business. She's doing like real estate right now. She says that it's not really her passion. She's possibly looking for something different. She talked about her family, her father, her brothers, which I really liked. I showed her a picture of my phone screen, which was me and my mother. And so, like, being able to talk about family really drives connection. And it's like I didn't force her, like, but it was just I really loved hearing about her father, hearing about her brothers, and her family life. And it's I could definitely tell she was a woman of quality, and at a certain time, like, so we ordered light food, like tuna tartare, salmon caprini, or something like that, fancy stuff. And what else did we order? She ordered a salad, typical first date order. She suggested to order hookah, which I was supposed to do with the girl that was, oh, by the way, so the girl that came at 6 p.m., she was like, I could wait for you. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, like, sure. I mean, it shouldn't be like more than 2 hours. 90 minutes to 2 hours. I'll be away. If you want to stay here at my place, feel free to Netflix and order some food. She did stay. And so she's staying at my place, and I'm on the date with the second girl. And I'm also being mindful of the time, which I have to be mindful of the time right now also. But this is wild. So the date started around like 9:20 when she got there, and it's approaching midnight. And I was like, oh, like, I was trying to leave. And she's like, are you in a rush? Like, do you need to go? Do you wake up early? I was like, I'm trying to sleep early these days, just focusing on my health. And I was like, I don't want to hold her, like the girl I'm with here, in a situation where she feels like, oh, the date is dragging on for too long. At the same time, I have another girl waiting for me at home, and so finally, around like 11 or 12:30, we get up, and we're at valet. She gives the ticket for her car. I Ubered there, and she's like, let me drop you off. I was like, no, you don't have to, like, I'm good. And she's like, no, just come with me. So I get in her car, which she has a nice, like, a smaller Range Rover, very nice, like, transparent roof. Anyway, get into her car. She takes me to the Burj Khalifa, which is where I used to stay, which I, having faced some financial locking up of my capital, I'm talking about millions of dollars. I talk about becoming, you've heard of becoming an overnight millionaire. It's like the opposite of going from millions to broke overnight. So I had to kind of pass that amazing Burj Khalifa Armani flat onto someone else that can pay for the monthly rent about like $14,000 a month, until like I fix my finances and whatnot. So someone else is staying there. And so she does drop, but she remembers me staying there from a few months ago. Yeah, I used to send her pictures of my days and my living room, and she acts like, what's your favorite place in Dubai? And I said, my living room, because I designed it very nicely, and it's just beautiful, honestly. Very elegant. And actually, that's the first place that I invited her a few months back, is to my living room, and she was like a bit reserved, to say, let's meet in a more like a neutral territory. So anyway, she drops me off in front of the Burj Khalifa. I, of course, go inside. I mean, the staff there recognizes me, and also I have my card. I have my right there, which gives me entrance and everything. So, I went inside the lobby, used the restroom, and got out of the Burj, got into a taxi, and went to the Airbnb that I was staying at, where the girl was waiting for me for close to 4 hours, from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. And I opened the door, she's there watching Netflix, and I don't tell her too much detail. She just asked, was the meeting productive? I said, yes, it was productive. It is helping me to decide many things, like moving back to Dubai and stuff. And then we got cuddly and cozy, and it was a spectacular evening, with a memorable climax, and then, like, as we're laying there, I'm thinking, man, I have so much I gotta do within the next 24 hours of, like, getting up early, checking out of the Airbnb, going to get some of my suitcase from my flat in the Burj Khalifa, which I stored that away, out of the way of the people that are staying there now. But I had to still pick up the luggages. And here is this girl that's still here at like 3 a.m. And finally she has to leave at like 3:30, and I bid her farewell, and then I just immediately go to sleep. I didn't even have time to ponder about what a crazy day it was. And at the same time, I saw that I got a text from the girl that I went out on the date within a date. And she said, because I texted her, let me know when you get home safely, as you should always text her that. I remember one time I got into an argument with a girl that had come over, completely different story, completely different country. But even though I was like upset with her and I dismissed her, I told her to leave. I still texted her, let me know when you get home safely, and she replied back when she did get home safe, and then I just didn't contact her for many weeks. But always text them that it is very courteous. Anyway, so I woke up this morning around, like, I was struggling to get up as I had a wild day. And again, I'm here for 3 days for business. In the middle of that, I squeeze in a date within a date that was coordinated by another girl, which actually today my nutritionist. Again, she's so much more than that. That's just how we met. But a lovely, lovely lady. It's like one of those attractive friends that you just have this chemistry with, and this like wonderful like sexual tension. That's her. She texted, "How did the date go?" And I sent her an update, and she was very happy as well as proud of the fact that I actually did go, and it was because of her that I even messaged that girl yesterday. But in regards to what will happen with this high quality girl, I don't know. She did text me when she got home and also said, "Oh, I forgot to ask you to airdrop me those pictures," because I had the waiter, when the food came, I had the waiter take a picture or a few pictures of us, and it was beautiful. We were both wearing black. It just looked like we were a set. And when the waiter gave the picture back and I showed her the pictures, I said, "This will be nice to show our kids," which is a great line. After like the picture, especially on the first date, makes it very memorable. Anyway, so she texted that she had forgotten to ask me to airdrop the picture. So right now, actually, as I was having my food here, I texted her saying it was a wonderful experience meeting you. Maybe so she said something along the lines of maybe it was meant to be on the date because it was so difficult for us to coordinate, and I told her that I was leaving. Actually, if it didn't work out yesterday night, it couldn't be tonight because I have a flight this afternoon. And so she said maybe it was meant to be, and so I used that fragment in my text to her today, saying, and including sending her the pictures. I said it was a wonderful experience finally meeting you. Maybe it was meant to be because I'm already at the airport. And so I just kind of left it open-ended. I didn't say until next time because I do plan to text her and build a chemistry in the absence of when I'm away. And also, she's really given me a great perspective. I love her mentality. I really felt like I was in the presence of someone that I could see as a wife. She mentioned how important it is to believe in love and to surround yourself with people that confirm that it is possible to have great relationship and not all the other like common stories that we hear of people getting divorces, breakups, after 4 or 5 years, it falls apart, or surrounding ourselves with not just the people that don't honor the sanctity of their relationships or marriage, but also the influences that suggest that sort of behavior. And I really felt like she understood the mental game of life from that business side, from that relationship element to the business side, where she's like, she used to live in a low-end part of Dubai on Sheikh Zayed Road, and she said that like the people that she would see around her, her neighbors, unemployed, not really progressing, not really doing much with their life, and it had a subliminal effect on her until she moved to a better environment and started elevating herself because of the subtle influences around her. And so I really love the fact that she understands psychology and mindset. It's just like I was like I found something very rare here, and she's stunning physically, mentally, elegantly. One of those rare people. The first person. Actually, wait. Yeah, the first person that I've gone out on a date with that I can, since my falling apart of my last relationship many years ago that I can see putting in the effort to try to not just get into a relationship with her, but to wife her. And it may not go anywhere near that, but at least I got a glimpse into that exists, and that is enough. That is a gift in itself. That if that's the first and last date that we ever go on, it's given me something very beautiful to hold on to remember, not just her by, but to remember what it was like to be in love, to be in a relationship where both people give it their all. And she mentioned like her brother, who was like a playboy, when he fell in love and got married, he was solely dedicated to her, to his husband, to his wife, him being the husband. But anyway, it was a very fascinating past 2 days, past day, and past 3 days of being in Dubai. It felt like a week of things and activities, an amazing story. But more than anything, I began this journey of having something to look forward to, and also the girl that I went on date with inside the first date. The elegant, high quality girl, she is making me want to be a better person, like a better man, to achieve more, to do more, to become more, to be on her level or above, so that she can look up to a guy like me and be proud. As the same way we want a girl or a woman in our life that we're proud of. So it was very wonderful evening. I'm really proud of the fact that I pushed myself, challenged myself to follow through and go on this date, because it was a high risk, high reward date. It wasn't like one of those dates like I don't care. I did care, and I do care, and it was. I mean, we hugged when she first came, and then I hugged her again in the car before, like as she dropped me off. I do hope to see her again. I don't expect it, but I will work on myself physically, mentally, financially, emotionally, spiritually. Speaking of spiritually, she's also spiritually very grounded. I mean, she just came from Saudi Arabia doing Umrah, and so it was nice to talk to her about me going to do Hajj in a few weeks. So I have much to update her on and communicate with her in the absence of me not being in Dubai. So that's, oh my God, I gotta go catch my flight. They're starting to the board. So that was my wild adventures in Dubai. I am gonna marinate on this for the rest of my life, that I have successfully done a date inception. Until the next great adventure.